Jay Horwitz with a kind of a sad edition of Amazing Conversation. We have John Olerud, Mookie Wilson, and Turk Wendell to remember our former teammate and friend Rickey Henderson, who passed away kind of suddenly over the weekend, age 65. His 66th birthday was Christmas Day. Guys, even though Rickey was with us just for a short time, it made a big impact. He helped us get to our first postseason in 11 years. At age 40, he hit 315, 37 stolen bases, 423 on base. Uh, got a lot of big hits in the postseason. And Mookie, let me start with you as the elder statesman here. What do you remember about Mookie in the year he was with us?
But Ricky and I, we go way back. But when I actually first got to the big leagues, Ricky and I had the same agent, and we always get together, um, like the week of spring training. Um, the agent would always get us all together, and we just have a good time with this, you know, hypnotist and all that kind of stuff. And Ricky as a player, which I never had the luxury of playing with him, but I knew him a lot off the field, and you know, I was lucky enough to be able to coach him. And Ricky was the same. He was a little different, Ricky. He he wasn't a technical person when it came to baseball. He just did things, and it just was natural to him. Don't ask him how he did it, because he couldn't explain it to you for all the tea and China. He just couldn't do it. But he's very, very savvy baseball player. And I remember coaching him at first base. And my job at first base is always let the guys know what pitch you have, what to move, and all. Because Ricky look at me like, really? You trying really? And I said, oh, I forgot, Rick. I'm sorry. My bad. And that's what I remember. I remember that about Ricky. And now the one thing Ricky didn't know signs. He didn't know signs at all. Which there's no need to give Ricky signs, because Ricky did his thing regardless of situations, and he was so successful in doing what he's doing, and he knew the game very well. So those are my good things I knew remember about Ricky. And Ricky always say Ricky's gonna do this, Ricky's gonna do this, one thing or the other, and more times than not he did. And so Ricky was just a very good person, a good baseball player.
John, what's your favorite Rickey Henderson story?
Oh, you want me to tell the Rickey Henderson story or my?
Why don't you start off with the Rickey Henderson story? The one. The one.
The one? Oh, the one was when I was with the Mariners. I had played with Ricky with the Blue Jays. I played with him with the Mets, and I just signed with the Mariners. We're playing. Ricky gets released from the Mets. The Mariners pick him up, and Dave Niehaus comes to me at the batting cage, and he says, "Hey, tell me if this is true or not. They say Ricky came up to you and asked you why you wear the hard hat." And I told him, well, I had surgery when I was in college. He says, you know what? I played with a guy just like that with the Mets. And I said, yeah, Ricky, that was me. And Dave Niehaus, he asked, is that true? And I go, no, it's not true. It's a good story, but it's not true. And the real story was that Scott Lawrenson, who was the assistant trainer with the Mets, he was great at coming up with stories with guys. It was always fun to go into
Great sense of humor.
Yeah, great sense of humor. Fun to go into the training room to see what sort of story he'd come up on the guys, and he came up with it, and it just. I'm still answering that question of is it true, and I've been denying it for almost 20 years.
Turk, what do you recall best?
Well, kind of like what Johnny was just saying. One of the funniest, Ricky. I mean, he played with so many people, and he didn't know anybody's names.
No.
And we quizzed him on the bus one day, and I don't forget where we're coming back, but it was just us players on the bus. So it was on the way to the airport or coming home from the airport, and we put the overhead light on the bus over Glendon Rush, and we said, "Hey, Ricky, who's this?" And he looked back, and he goes, that's old Lefty. He knew his left-handed pitcher, but he didn't know his name. And I mean, you talk about Ricky saying, gosh, he was sculpted. His body was just chiseled, right? Which baffled me, because every night he would take a brown paper bag and go into the food room and just load up on snacks and cookies and candy bars and all that. And I'm going, how in the heck is he eating all this stuff and staying in such great shape?
Guys, I remember most about Ricky the wild card game against Cincinnati. I was shutout game. He led off the game with a single. Fonzie hits a home run, and in the fifth inning he hit another home run. And he wound up hitting 400 in the division series against Arizona. So he almost came up big in all our big games. You guys have any one game you remember about him specifically at all, or one catch or anything?
I'm saying that's hard. It was like routine for Ricky to do something, especially if he tells you he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna win today, and stuff like that nature. We're gonna have a good day and blah blah blah. No, there's no one game that just set Ricky apart from any other game. Um, now if you ask me that, I can. But because Ricky is almost impossible. He was that good. And the thing I like about Ricky so much is that he can beat you in a number of ways. You know, in that the play, on the bases. And I don't think that he got the credit for being a fielder that he was. Um, as he got older, of course, he didn't have the arm and stuff that he that at the beginning. But he was a very good outfielder.
Yeah, you guys remember we had the crazy promotion. Mercury Mets were the team of the future. Rookie led off for us, and he looked on the scoreboard. He had hordes coming out of his head.
I those uniforms. I don't think Ricky wanted to wear 'em, to be honest with you. I don't think he wanted to wear that thing, but he
I
did
don't
it.
think any of us wanted to wear it.
I think it cramped his style a little bit. He always had something really clever, to say, and Rick would say there's some stuff off the wall stuff when it came to uniforms in the game and other players and stuff, and I think that was probably the the thing that people liked about Ricky, just to talk with him. I think reporters love to talk to Ricky because he know he's going to say something, and it was always included Ricky in it. Whatever it was, Ricky did it. It was never like I. He never said I. He'd always say
Always
Ricky.
talk to the third
Yeah,
person.
always, always. And I think people talk to him just to hear him say it. But it was funny, man. If Ricky don't like this uniform, Ricky can't do a thing in this one. Nah, that's Ricky.
John, did you have much byplay with him at all?
I think the thing, like Mookie was talking about, playing against him, uh, gosh, you wanted to, he would talk about how he was going to beat you, and then he would go out and do it. So that was super irritating. But I think, getting a chance to play with him, I was just surprised at what a good guy he was, and what a good teammate he was, and so then that animosity of wanting to beat him, you get to be his teammate, and you're thankful that he's a teammate, and you enjoy having him in the clubhouse. So yeah, I remember him talking to himself, at the plate, and some of the stories about some of the things he said. But yeah, he was just a great guy.
And he played for 25 years in a row. That's pretty good. Turk, how about you? You any special byplays with
Um,
him at all?
not really on the field that I can remember. I mean, I would have loved to have played with him when he was in his prime. Playing when I played with him in '99 and 2000, he was towards the end of his career, and when he wanted to play, those days he was a pretty special player. Um, Getting back to the funny story of the bus rides, he would always sit in the front seat, and someone was sitting in his seat one day, and he said, "Hey, that's my seat." And he said, "So Ricky's got tenure, 10 years, tenure." And he said, "Ricky got 10. Ricky got 20 years."
What I like about it too, he asked Willie. We retired Willie Mays' number a couple of years ago, and called Willie to ask him where his number, and Willie gave permission to wear the number for a year, which tells you what kind of what Willie thought of him. Guys, looking back at '99, what do you think about we won the pennant, we got the playoffs the last week of the season, almost beat the Braves. Can you believe it's 25 years now since '99? Chuck, you actually hadn't seen some of these guys in a while, right?
No, I was just telling you guys I haven't talked to Oli here
Yeah.
since the bus. That I don't. You probably don't even remember what I told you,
No.
but I told
Yeah.
I told you that it was an honor to play with you, and if I ever had a son, I want him to grow up to be just like you. And then I got traded to the Phillies, and I got to be teammates with Jim Thome. And I said, "Hey, Tom, I used to think Olerud was the best, but Ole doesn't hunt.
That's
But
right.
I do have a son, and he is a lot like you, Ole. He really is,
Yeah.
and I'm very thankful
How
that he played with you.
about you, Mook?
As a coach, you have so much going on, and I remember, as a coach, coaching Ricky. Um, in all honesty, I thought that we had the team to beat the Braves that year. I thought we had the team to do it, but we had just it's a very good team. Look at it. He just had to come in.
Guys,
He just had to come in.
guys, last question. I was shocked when I heard the news. I remember Ricky never had an inch of fat on him. 65, much too young to die. What was your first reaction when you heard he passed suddenly?
Oh man.
Yeah, I would say that I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. Like Turk said, he just was always in such amazing shape. I just wouldn't have thought that a health issue would have gotten him at this point. So I was surprised, couldn't believe it.
How about you, Mook?
I was in shock. Because just for knowing Ricky, you think about the picture of health. It's like, healthy people don't die. I mean, I know that's a bad way to think about things, but you know, that's probably the last thing I would expect to hear Ricky, passing away. And then I didn't know the details behind it. But like Ole said, health would be the last thing. Ricky's sick. Ricky, nah, that just something was right. It took me another day to realize that my daughter was telling me the truth because I thought she was pulling my leg or something.
Yeah. How about you, Turk?
Yeah, I didn't realize. I mean, it seemed like he'd been around forever. Like I watched him when I was a kid, and I mean, I thought he was older than 65, but I never actually thought of a number. And I was sitting there thinking, wow, he's only 8 years older than me. He seemed like he'd been around since Babe Ruth, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I guess it just baffles me that he's passed away, and to think they said it was pneumonia, and I just thought, well, maybe there had to be something else that,
Yeah.
because most of the time people go to the hospital, and that's when they get pneumonia, is in the hospital.
Uh, I
So
remember Ricky always used to ask me something. I said, Ricky would like you to get him, he and his wife, tickets to play.
Ricky.
You can get back to Ricky. Great guy. I mean, really
Yeah.
wonderful working with him and honored to work with him. Guys, thank you for taking time this holiday season to remember our friend and former teammate. And hope to see you guys soon again. Thank you for everybody's time.
All right.
thanks,
Thanks.
Jason.
Right.
My
Thanks,
See you
Jay.
absolute
guys.
pleasure.